Okay, today we're gonna take a look at, or talk about, free energy. The impossible made possible only on YouTube. And before you go anywhere, please do not search on YouTube free energy. You are gonna start hating the internet to the day you close your eyes. So for now, let's just set sail with this video or this podcast right here by saying that so far, since the Middle Ages, that people have been tinkering with energy and rotation and all that, we have not found free energy. And yes, since the Middle Ages, people started tinkering with the wheels by trying to make a perpetual energy, or perpetual motion would be the correct term for it, that would set the stage for free energy. And those windmills you see right there are not free energy. And no, they are not perpetual machines, because that doesn't exist yet. If somebody claims to have found a perpetual rotation or perpetual motion that could be converted into energy, I would like to take a look at it and see if they could reach that without breaking the first or second law of thermodynamics. And those laws are quite unbreakable so far, ever since we started messing with physics, with electricity, thermodynamics, science, and all that good stuff. So, what is up with the videos that are claiming free energy? Is it possible to have free energy? The short answer is no. The long answer is yes, if by free energy you mean energy with human or external input. And that shuts down the notion of free energy. Now it's no longer free, because for it to be real free energy is the motion of bodies, or of a body that continues that motion forever uninterrupted and requires no intervention or input from humans or other external elements such wind, solar, and otherwise. So, why is it so wrong to actually go online out there, and those people that are making videos of how to make free energy, why is it so wrong? I know you might say there on the corner that, well, okay, they're just trying to make a buck, and that's fine, and some of them are from other countries, and some of them are our own here in US. I've seen those channels, and I'm not proud of them. Well, the reason it is wrong is that some people don't know any better. Not everybody is a technician or electro engineer or any of that, and they go out there, buy motors, buy two motors to link them with each other, and somehow when you start the first motor, now that energy will keep the second motor going on like in a closed loop. That is not how it works, because of the second law of thermodynamics that states very clear that energy moves always from hotter objects to colder objects, meaning that those motors inside, yes, they're hot in live, and it will move to a motor that's not exactly active, or I would say in layman terms, from an active motor to an inactive motor. Yes, in paper, you would think that hypothetically, why wouldn't it move? You know, the first motor, we spin it by hand. Okay, let's give that input as the initial energy. And now, the second motor, by being spun with the first, is energized. Now that energy that's produced by the second motor will come to the first motor. And here we come back to the laws of thermodynamics. That second motor will not be able to reach a perfect equilibrium of motion to keep both motors afloat or active or running. There will be a time, within usually a minute or less, that motor will start slowing down, because the first motor now is just being spun by the second. So when that second stops, both stop, because there's nothing else energizing them. They're not both being active, because otherwise that would be a perpetual motion. And we don't have a circuit. Yes, I did my way with bridge rectifiers and whatnot, trying to kind of make both of them run at the same time, almost like in a tandem, that they would energize each other all the time, and amongst them, I would take 50% of the produced energy as my useful energy, let's say to energize or turn on a fan or a lamp or charge a battery. Well, that lasted a total of 1 minute and 12 seconds until the motors just started slowing down. Yes, I got kicked in the butt by the laws of thermodynamics again. So, from the second law of thermodynamics, I went and got kicked by the first law of thermodynamics, which is very clear on what it says. That it says the total energy in a system remains constant, although it may be converted from one form to another. So now that energy on the first motor, yes, it remained constant until I tried to transfer it to a second body that was motionless. And now there was nothing to push it except for it to work with its own inertia until it slowed down to a halt. And it didn't work again. Unless, yes, I kept spinning by hand. And I know what's grinding you right now. You're saying that I should have tested the flywheel method. Yes, a Nordic track bike was a really beautiful investment just to tear down, to use that beautiful flywheel. I tried different weights on it. Yes, I tried to make almost a perfect balance on that wheel that there was no way for it to stop in my mind, except for when I applied load. Now, load is where that thermodynamic stuff comes in again. That heat came in and told me to stop it. You know, he just sends people cease and desist all the time because free energy does not exist. And I've seen a lot of those that claim that free energy can be, harvested from wind, from trees, from ground. Just keep in mind that ground is 4 ohms resistance. So you have a resistance right there. You have to make calculations for that resistor to be kind of penetrable, which makes it impossible because it doesn't have a counterbalance to make it valid for energy production. And I'm talking about to be meaningful. Yes, there is possibilities to actually have a multimeter connected to almost anything, including your own hands. You can test it right now. Take both leads of the multimeter, put it either in DC or AC, and put it at the lowest setting of measurement, and take one lead in your left hand and the other lead in your right hand. Or one lead, for example, the positive in your hand, and the negative touch, I don't know, some kind of metal objects around you, and you will see some numbers. Now, is that energy? Kind of, yes, energy is all around us. That's just the point of how energy works. Is that usable energy? Except for radio waves, no, it's not. The only reason radio waves work is that it's very low energy at high frequencies. Yes, now I'm gonna get into a kind of entanglement to give in layman's terms. Why then radio stations need a lot of power? We're talking about 50 to 100 kilowatts sometimes a day for a radio station, AM I'm talking about, and FM sometimes is being done digital, or at least the old radios required quite a bit of energy. Well, that's the problem. We are talking about the energy to initialize and broadcast that frequency or that electromagnetic wave to reach your radio, because your radio needs to have some energy too, to have a receiver inside to receive that wave, to convert it through a process that I'm not gonna explain here, from waves to actual information. And you can see a video. I made an experiment a while ago that you could turn actual sound signals into pictures. It's a very beautiful thing because that's how satellite communication was done, and it's still being done actually even as we speak right now, of transmitting information. So those videos of free energy are no different than the prince that sends you an email offering you $5,000 if you send him $500 for the transfer. Yay, if you believe that is real, then free energy is very possible, very doable. You just need probably 2 wires, possibly copper, connect them to a phone charger, and stick it to the ground, and you can have a lot of energy, probably gigawatts, not megawatts, gigawatts. And yes, that was me being an a-hole, because that's not true. It's not how it works. If you study energy at any level, you'll realize that possibly, and maybe, I say that with a light heart, 30 to 50% of the videos on YouTube teaching you about energy are actually fake or false information that does not work. In my videos, I try to be true to my experiments. I know sometimes I might fail, I'm human, and I try to admit when I make a mistake, and there's a lot of videos that I do not even post. Yes, I filmed the entire experiment, and in my mind, what could go wrong? Yeah, it should work, right? In the end, it doesn't work. But I'm not gonna show you that experiment because I don't want you to have the wrong idea of, oh, maybe I'll try it, and towards the end of the video, it doesn't work. So yeah, you spent your time, and now you're angry at me, you're angry at YouTube, and you're angry at the world. I don't want to cause that. If you get angry at me, I want you to get angry for valid reasons. Not for reasons that could be prevented easily if I simply said, yeah, this video doesn't work, so don't try it. Or just don't post the video. Yes, it takes more hours to make another video, another experiment, but that is fine. I signed up for that. I signed up to be on YouTube. I signed up to be in front of your eyeballs with whatever I have to offer, experimentally, opinionally, if that's a word, or otherwise. So just don't fall for these traps of free energy, perpetual energy, perpetual motion. By the way, perpetual energy is not the right term. It actually stems from perpetual motion. And what I said previously, that perpetual motion was tried in the Middle Ages, that is a real thing. It's true. You can go find studies with some French physicists and German, some British, actually did tests of perpetual motion on flywheels, on different wheels, and just was impossible. And yes, especially starting with the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, there was another kind of movement amongst engineers to reach some sort of re-spark of that idea, if we could make that possible. And unfortunately, to the day we are talking, and to the moment you are watching this video, that has not been reached. Now, there is a wheel, I forget the name of what it's called, in England at a museum, that is a so-called perpetual wheel. Now, the problem with that wheel is that I have a lot of suspicions. They never revealed the mechanics of it. Supposedly, it's one of those trade secrets. Yeah, right. 100 years later, there's no trade secrets remaining on it. But I have my doubts that it is a really perpetual wheel. Even if it's a perpetual wheel, let's say. Does it produce any sort of usable energy? No, it doesn't. So is it worth anything? Absolutely not. Now, would I like to have my hands on it, take it apart, and see the inner workings of it, the engineering of it, the thinking of it? I would absolutely love to do so, but they don't allow it. What's inside? Is there magnets? Is there air flops? Is there, I don't know, radio receivers that excite probably magnetometer and do all that sort of stuff that I'm not gonna go too deep? I don't know. Very possible. Nothing's impossible in this world. But is it free energy? No. Nobody has reached it yet. And if you have any idea of how to reach free energy, I would love to hear it in the comments below. But a friendly suggestion would be, if you are going to the route of studying perpetual energy, I would point you up to study first laws of thermodynamics. Because, you know, thermos, or heat, is the enemy of electricity. And if you study how heat works, you might be into something to reaching, if not perpetual and free energy, at least low cost or cheap energy, or low human input energy, as in wind energy combined with solar, with a compressor that's powered by solar to spin the windmill, a battery that keeps the compressor at times when there's no wind, all that. I'm not gonna go into more details on that because I don't want to point you to the wrong direction, but that's just an idea I've had in my head, and you can start with that. But if you're thinking that somehow a video on YouTube will make you energy independent with free energy, you have to forget that. I've spent hours and hours and hours studying a lot of videos, and I'm talking about from real scientists and real engineers, electro engineers, and none of them has reached that point yet. Now, if you want to watch somebody that doesn't even know what he's doing, telling you about free energy, that's your problem, that you like to waste time and money. But other than that, I would leave you with just don't waste time unless you are willing to put some time to study it. First, start with perpetual motion, then gradually go to thermodynamics, and then study heat transfer and thermal transfer properties, and then come back and talk to me. I am very ready to hear ideas in the comments or in any of my other social medias. You can just let me know what you think. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and please like and subscribe. We will see you next time, hopefully with some better ideas and maybe with a free energy solution. Who knows? We never know. Bye!